When is the last time something in your life felt broken or partial or incomplete? And you tried as hard as you could to fix it, finish it, and straighten it out right away. Most of us do that on reflex. A crack shows up and we reach for the glue before we've even looked at the shape of the crack. Today, the verse asks us to do something almost unthinkable instead. It asks us to let the cracks be there for a minute. Here it is. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient master said, "If you want to be given everything, give everything up," they weren't using empty phrases. Only being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. And that's verse 21. This one reads almost like a riddle at first. Become whole by staying partial. Become straight by staying crooked. Get everything by giving everything up. It sounds backwards. It's supposed to sound backwards because almost everything we've been taught about getting somewhere runs the opposite direction. Work harder, hold on tighter, fix the flaw, and control the outcome. Lao Tzu is pointing at something quieter and honestly a little stranger, that the tightest grip is usually the thing standing between you and the very thing you're gripping for. Think about the pairs in the verse for a second. Whole and partial, straight and crooked, full and empty, reborn and dying. Every single one is framed as a trade, not a trick. Not pretend to be partial so people think you're humble. Actually let yourself be partial. Actually stop performing wholeness you don't feel. So what does the Master do with all this? The verse says the Master doesn't display himself. And because of that, people can see his light. Doesn't have anything to prove, so people can trust his words. Doesn't know who he is, so people can recognize themselves in him. He has no goal in mind, so everything he does succeeds. Every line has that same shape. Something is let go of, and something else shows up in the space it leaves behind. Take because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. That one trips people up. Isn't displaying yourself exactly how people see anything about you? But think about the difference between a person who is constantly narrating their own goodness. Look how patient I'm being. Look how generous I was. And the person who's just quietly patient, quietly generous, and doesn't mention it. The first person's display gets in the way of the very quality they're trying to show you. You end up watching the display instead of the light. The second person isn't hiding anything, but there's no performance standing between you and them. Somehow, you see more, not less. It's the same with he has nothing to prove, so people can trust his words. A person who's constantly defending themselves, constantly needing you to agree that they're right, makes you suspicious, even if they're telling the truth. Something about the effort itself raises a flag. A person who genuinely isn't trying to win the conversation, who can say, I don't know, or I was wrong, without it costing them anything, that's the person you end up believing almost without deciding to. And then the strangest line of all. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. That's not confusion. It's the absence of a fixed, defended self-image getting in the way of contact. The less someone is clutching to a story about who they are, the more room there is for you to actually meet them. And oddly, to see something of yourself in them too. The verse ends with a line that's easy to skim past. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. Being lived, not living. That's the real difference. Living your life the way most of us default to means you're the one white-knuckling every outcome, holding the empty thing full by force, refusing to let anything die because you're not sure what would be reborn in its place. Being lived by the Tao is something else. It's trusting that the crooked branch still makes a good walking stick, that the empty cup is the one that can actually hold coffee, that the version of you who is willing to be seen unfinished is somehow more than the one who's never let anyone see the cracks.